Hello, this is Mr. Stein, and in this video, we're going to look at section 7.1, developing a system of linear equations. We're going to look at example number 1. So after you're done this section, you should be able to write linear equations from a situation and identify restrictions on variables. Remember the 3 steps: define variables, identify restrictions, write the equations. All right, example problem 1. Create a linear system to model this situation. The stage at the Lyle Victor Albert Center in Bonnyville, Alberta is rectangular. The perimeter is 158 feet. The width of the stage is 31 feet less than the length. So, we're going to go through those 3 steps. Step 1, define variables. So what is it we're asked to find out that we don't know about? Well, one of them is width. So W is equal to width of the stage. Second one is the length of the stage. I always use a cursive L so that it doesn't get mixed up with the number 1. Step number 2, identify restrictions. Now these restrictions will be the same as the first example in the basics. For our variable W, W is going to have to be greater than or equal to 0, and W could be any real number. We can have decimal restrictions, we can have fractional widths, but we can't have negative widths. So it has to be anything above 0. And our restrictions on our length. Length, such that our length has to be larger than or equal to 0 as well. We could have a 0 length. It would just be a straight line, but it could be. And length, again, could be any real number because decimals are okay. Number 3. Our equations. Now we look for 2 statements in our question that will help us get our equations. Our first statement, its perimeter is 158 feet. Okay, so let's do that one. Perimeter is 158 feet. So the perimeter is twice the width plus twice the length is equal to 158 feet. That's our first equation. That's equation 1. Now the width of the stage is 31 feet less than the length. So the width is smaller. So we take the length, we subtract 31, and that will give us the width. So the width, so here's equation number 2. The width is, equal sign is, 31 feet less than the length. So it's the length minus 31. Whenever you see something like 31 less than the length, then it's the length minus 31. 24 less than the cost, then it's cost minus 24. So now we have our 2 equations. We're done part A. Part B. SEBI has determined that the stage is 55 feet long and 24 feet wide. Use the linear system from part A to verify that SEBI is correct. So we're going to verify here. Now verify is actually step 5. Step 4 is solve the linear system, but we don't know how to do that yet. That'll come in the future. But we're going to verify. So let's take a look. 2 times 24 plus 2 times 55. So we just substitute these into our equation. And we ask ourselves, does it really equal 158? And then we do 2 times 24 is 48 plus 110. Does that equal 158? And 158 does equal 158. So it works in the first equation. Now let's verify it in the second equation. The width, 24, does that equal 55 minus 31? Well, what is 55 minus 31? It is 24. So it works out in both of these equations. So right now in this section, you're defining your variables, identifying your restrictions, writing your equations, and then maybe verifying. Step 4 is solving the linear system.